I'll be honest with you, I like the Spigen Tough Armor Pro. I also don't like it.
What?
Because in the last few weeks, I broke the tip of my Apple Pencil, so I don't really get to use that anymore until getting new tips. Now, before I broke it, using this product together with the Apple Pencil, awesome, useful, it was great handling. But now I don't get to use this product. What's the point of all this? Still feels good, but what am I supposed to put in place of the Apple Pencil? A pepperoni stick?
That's the conundrum I'm dealing with for this review.
At MobileReviewsEh, Monty and I are working on becoming the Wagyu beef of accessory reviewers. We're the only dog and human team that I know of that's willing to go beyond the unboxing of a product before reviewing it. The Spigen Tough Armor Pro fits the iPad better than the last case I reviewed, the UAG Metropolis. Installation of the product is a little finicky, as you have to insert it from one side and not the other side before snapping everything on. There's instructions. The corners of the back of the case are raised so it keeps the back of the case off a flat surface and also stops the case from sliding around. Now, as a side note, how many of you guys actually store your iPad face down? Like, I do this definitely with my iPhones, but never with my iPads. My iPads are always sitting face up. The Tough Armor Pro is a slimmer case when compared to slightly tougher cases like the Metropolis and the Defender. Definitely the Defender. But there's no screen cover, so it better be thinner. The standout feature for me on this Tough Armor Pro is the texture on the polycarbonate portion of the case. I'm generally a big fan of software rubber coatings and finishes on my products. Spigen software rubber finishes are still a bit tacky when compared to some of the other companies, but the finish on this Tough Armor Pro is the perfect amount of texture and tackiness. Now, the recessed areas of this case have a slightly different finish than the rest of it, but having that extra texture on this product is just, this is awesome. If you guys have been watching my live videos every Friday, you'll know how much I like this. I talk about it almost every single week. Honestly, I'm hoping the iPhone 12 products from Spigen get this finish, because that would just make that product even better than it is now. Might even break the top 5. If you're finding this review useful, consider getting all your stuff through my Amazon links. This channel's not sponsored, so all the time and money that you see me spending on all this stuff comes out of Monty's pockets. Do you have pockets? The TPU that the iPad sits in also has a bit more texture than the iPhone versions. The one thing I did notice is that fingerprinting seemed to be a bit more apparent on this black case. The Apple Pencil, if you do use it, fits snugly between the case and the iPad. Spigen has included a cutout on the back so that you can kind of pop out your Apple Pencil quite easily. But if you're not planning on using an Apple Pencil, I don't know what you could do with this thing. Like, it's a tiny handle, tiny briefcase handle. Maybe you can wear it as a wrap your neck strap around it. When it comes to using the iPad in the case, the power button is easy to use. The volume buttons are not. If this case had an Apple Pencil-less versions, those buttons would be pretty good because I'm assuming they'd be the same as the power button, but they're not. Volume buttons on this product? Subpar. The edges of the case are quite high, but for an iPad case, given the nature of the device, they don't really get in the way of screen access. The kickstand allows for only 2 different viewing angles, both in landscape modes. The kickstand does not do much for portrait mode, which is unfortunate. I will note that the cutouts do not expose the back of the iPad, which reduces the chance of your iPad getting scratched by debris. The port cutout is large enough to use whatever USB-C cable you want, and the camera, well, is unpeated. The Pro camera is unpeated. Now, overall, the texture and the finish of this case, coupled with the thinness of this product, makes for a very comfortable using experience. Like, there's just enough stuff everywhere for your hands to hold on to. I like it, except for this part. Just so torn. That's my conundrum. When it comes to protection, the case is apparently rated to mil standard 810G, which means dropping your iPad for 4 feet is still going to require you to wear your brown pants. Now, overall, the Tough Armor Pro isn't going to be as protective as cases like the Metropolis and this OtterBox Symmetry 360. There's no screen cover, so get a screen protector. I've got a Spigen Glaster on this one, and well, it's a Spigen product, so it's going to fit incredibly well. So the bottom line for me for this case, and it's very obvious, if you have an Apple Pencil, this is a decent case to get. If you don't get it. But I honestly wish these companies would come up, or Spigen specifically would come with 2 versions of the case, Apple Pencil-less one and a non-Apple one, right? Companies like OtterBox have figured out a way how to keep that, the flap has enough give and enough magnets that, you can hide your Apple Pencil. I had the same problem with the Urban Armor Gear Metropolis, was that the Apple Pencil location where I'm supposed to store it, the flappy was just way too loose if you don't use an Apple Pencil. Unlike the OtterBox Symmetry, where the flap was able to close tightly regardless of what you had on there in the Apple Pencil area. The OtterBox Symmetry, from my perspective, has a one-up on a lot of these products because it can do both with or without the Apple Pencil, and it's so disappointing because this just works so well. And if you're wondering how I broke my Apple Pencil, the tip actually split. It's back there, I'm not gonna get it, but I'll show you a close-up of it. And so that Apple Pencil works like 50% of the time, which is still better than 0% of the time, but it's annoying when you're writing and then like you turn it slightly and it stops writing. You're like, eh. So that's all I got for this video. Questions, comments, leave them down there. The next case I'll be reviewing will be the Urban Armor Gear Scout. That's a pretty interesting case. I like thinness. That case is not thin at all. First time watching my videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe. Producing almost daily reviews, still doing daily reviews. This was part of the isolated video series where I was doing a review video a day throughout the pandemic, but decided to do that regardless. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna draw on your iPad with the camera hump out. I don't think I can say that. I'm generally a very big fan of soft rubber Kobe. I've been watching The Last Dance. So OtterBox, from my perspective, has a one-up on a lot of the OtterBox, the OtterBox symmetry from my perspective.